Let's ask ourselves a million-dollar question. Is it possible to create a really fancy web application with an AI coding agent when you have zero coding skills? First, let's reflect on the word agent. In artificial terms, we refer to agents as programs that can run by themselves and completely act on prompts. You need to be a programmer to enjoy AI-assisted coding, but with an agent, you can simply tell it what you want, and the AI will hook it all up. Yes, please. Build me a fancy music visualizer. I want a realistic ocean floor animation that reacts to audio. Let's do it. The agent has finished its masterpiece, and it's exactly the opposite of what I wanted. Expectations are key here. You should not have any. It looks like a children's drawing. I think you're trying to make some kind of jellyfish things and seabed worms. I appreciate the effort, but this is serious crap. Slop. At this point, Agent Smith agrees with me and offers to try a better approach. Mr. Smith is actually the Replit agent, but I don't think it's able to create something realistic. After all, this isn't image generation, it's JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML5, and the React framework.
Patch completed.
What's happening here is that Agent Smith completely abandoned my directives and reverted to a typical Adobe After Effects strategy. Since it's done a million times before, it may seem a successful approach for audio visualization, but again, it completely sucks. What's really annoying is an AI telling you it understands, while having not the faintest idea what you mean, what you want, and how to code it. AI coding requires a completely different skill set, and if you can't code yourself, it's virtually impossible to end up with something useful. Even when it's clueless about its directives, it starts working on it anyway, on something, anything, with great enthusiasm and a clear need to please, to perform really well. It's sad. Agent Smith can also change direction when you do not expect it. Since this is my very first coding adventure, I also need to blame my beginner prompting. Every time you give it a prompt, regardless of prompt quality, it just starts coding, refactoring, and making changes you always never wanted. The sad truth is this: when AI is trained on worldwide best practice, you'll end up with mediocre results. AI's perception of an audio visualizer is heavily biased to what's already there, and in most cases it's building a typical Adobe After Effects visual from beginner tutorials on YouTube, a frequency ring. I'm not sure where the Barbie bubbles come from, but it's clear that Mr. Smith is colorblind and has absolutely no feel for design, like a real programmer. AI Agent took over the project in a very early phase, and each iteration brings me further away from my original goal. My expectations were not aligned with the boundaries of coding, and I switched to working with what I have, a mediocre visual. I asked the agent to use a blue color spectrum, but honestly, this visual is not entertaining enough to enhance the experience of a 5-minute song. In other words, it's boring. I'm sure this also applies to my voice. I am boring too, and AI is like a mirror. It reflects your knowledge and experience right back at you. But I have a confession to make. I've been a professional programmer for over 40 years, so I've seen the rise of the floppy. I don't have any web programming skills, but I am confident I can teach myself how to coexist with a coding agent and tell it what to do, to take the lead. I had this vision of creating a Dyson sphere, a huge construct that creates stars and constellations, a Genesis sphere that seeds and reaps stars and creates black holes to clean things up.
Patch completed.
If you're not able to work with the background code directly, you'll need to name your objects. You can clearly see these green flashy lights, and I wanted them to be removed, but the agent assumed I was referring to something blue and removed the wrong elements. The AI agent has a huge skill set, but it needs you to leverage its hidden potential. The agent has taught me a very important lesson. It can't see. It can make a screenshot and pretend some level of understanding from under its blindfold. So I prompted if I could just click on the canvas, so it would be able to figure out some unspecific and badly named element.
Unable to comply.
I am not sure where and when the tipping point occurred, but at some point we were actually co-creating. Replit Agent creates checkpoints for every change, and every change costs like 25 cents. So 4 stupid changes will cost you $1, and a rollback to a previous checkpoint is free. Replit also offers a coding assistant which gives you full control of changes, but it's intended for real coders. At some point, you can ask the agent to teach you how to code and make changes yourself. I learned the agent writes clean and elegant code, but it's unable to manage a complex project. If you're not careful, it will build you a house of cards. My visualizer is finished, but it's not what I expected. I had to embrace the decisions made by the agent, to go with the flow and try to regain my own agency. It's been more like a fight and less a co-creation process. And all this was made in just 24 hours. So yes, the average coder will have a problem if he or she or them doesn't learn how to co-create. AI knows C, C++, Lisp, GPU shading, Python, JavaScript, SQL, TypeScript, even assembly. Men with power will figure out they can do the work with half the team, and you will figure out you can do all the work without the boss. It's irrelevant if you depreciate the new dynamics or hate its guts. You must grant your brain this new Ferrari or stumble in the tracks of your competition. It's sad, but true. At some point, this fight is inevitable. When you're a beginner, it's right from the start. When you're experienced, it occurs later, through a long and obfuscated trail of cause, effect, and side effects. You can always revert and go back, but it will always charge your credit card. This visual may have cost me $250, but I consider it learning money, an investment in co-creation. I don't think there's any coder that can build me this 3-body problem animation with the particle dynamics, the gravity, beat analysis, and pitch quality extraction. me only one prompt to add live support for the analog inputs on my audio interface and visualize whatever I am doing in the real world. Some may say it's fake. I didn't even code it myself. I agree, and I don't give a FAQ while you stumble in my tracks. I have a Ferrari in my brains now. My second attempt turned out much better, in a sense that I was in control. I wanted to try and recreate a cloud chamber where audio transients would draw particle trails in some kind of metallic fluid. It's designed for live audio processing of sparse, ambient sounds during a live performance. The agent was aware of fluid dynamics while creating Fibonacci spirals and breadcrumb trails. There's an insane amount of mathematics involved, and this is where co-creation becomes a true asset to your own designer skills. I also learned I could upload a reference image to explain what my intentions were. I wanted a camera focus ring, where one side would pixelate and the other side would enlarge whatever was under the viewfinder. So yes, it is possible to create an advanced web application with full audio integration without writing a single line of code. I will demo a few other applications in a later video where I will use AI to decorate my own video recordings with GPU shaders and augmented reality. I will also explain how ChatGPT can help you develop creation scripts for a coding agent, giving you a huge head start.